I have learned something that has had profound impact on every part of who I am. This life was not meant to be easy. And anytime I'm in a position where I expect it to be easy, I'm let down, I become disappointed, I become anxious and concerned for the future. Why? Because if it's supposed to be easy and it's not easy, that must mean that I'm doing something wrong. I want you to think about that for a second. Is that true? Is that possibly true? Knock, knock, who's there? Nope, it's not true. So I want to reframe this. I want us to reframe another direction. Okay, so let's think about this. Now we say life is not supposed to be easy, life is supposed to be hard. What if life is supposed to be hard? What if the time you're waiting for all these great, wonderful things to happen in life, they're actually not supposed to happen? And you get moments of this happiness, gladness you seek for, but then you somehow will think you're going to have that all the time. But what if it's not? What if you're supposed to have the hard all the time? Because the hard is where you grow. If it's not hard, you don't grow. The greatest moments of my life have been when it's hard, right? When I show up to the gym, there was about 3 or 4 months when I was going to the gym where I was pushing it at about 70% level. I knew it. I knew I was. I was listening to podcasts. I didn't have any kind of music going. I really wasn't getting motivated and pumping myself up. And I'm going at about 70% or so, right? And it got to be pretty easy. I wasn't PRing at all. And guess what? My body showed that. It was a representation of that. I'm like, okay, my body is not increasing. It's not doing anything. So I'm like, well, that's not good because that's not what I wanted. I wanted to have growth and expansion, right? So it wasn't until I started making my workouts hard. And then as soon as they were hard, guess what? Now that they're hard, oh, look out, buddy, because now I started to grow. Now I started to improve. That's when I started putting weight on. And then it was like, oh, so wait, when I make it hard, I become better. Oh, shoot. And then it's like, well, what about in your marriage? See, my first marriage, I didn't try to make it hard. I wanted it to be easy. And so I followed the path of easy the entire marriage. My marriage lasted 7 years. And every time I pursued the path of easy was avoiding the hard conversations. The path of easy was not being there at home as a man and as a husband and as a father that I needed to be. The easy part was to stay at work. The easy part was to disconnect. Because if I could disconnect emotionally, that was much easier. I don't want to choose hard. Hard was hard. That didn't sound like fun. Fun, hot. No, I'm not going to go that way. I don't want to do that. So I sit there and I would avoid hard. I would avoid hard in my body. This is why at 40 years old, all of a sudden I'm sitting at a concert and I end up having a heart attack. Literally have a heart attack at 40 years old. Why? Why? It wasn't for any other reason than I was constantly avoiding hard in my body because easy was continuing to drink every night. Easy was continuing to do drugs. Easy was not working out and taking care of my body. What was hard was to quit alcohol, was to quit drugs, was to quit anything of sedation and the stuff I was putting on my body, and then to actually go to the gym. That was hard. And I didn't want to choose that. And see, and I realized that. I learned that. I learned that that's not the possible way. So all the while that I am sitting here seeking for easy, guess what? I'm actually choosing a hard life. I'm choosing a life that's going to be shit. I'm choosing a life that I will be subject to it. I'm choosing that. So I want you to take a second, just think about that. Reframe the story in your mind when you think about that. Life is supposed to be hard, not easy. Stop expecting it to be easy because there is no such thing as easy. There is you sedating to the truth and the reality that you were put on this earth to grow and expand. You were put here to become more, to uncover more about who you are, where you came from, and where you are going. Those very basic questions. That's your purpose here. And that is not an easy pursuit. That is a hard pursuit. But through the hard pursuit, you actually find out who you are and who you are really capable of becoming. Through your trials, through the dark of night is where you find your light, not the other way around. You do not find light by going to light. You find light by going into the dark. And in the dark, you can turn on the light. And inside of that light, you can actually find purpose. You can find you. You can find God, right? That connection inside of you. The whole reason that you're here on this rock in the first place. But it all starts with one decision, to choose something hard. See, we all fall victim to this. I am not the only one. You're not the only one. So I want you to think about this. I want you to think about this right now. Where in your world, across body, being, balance, and business, where in your world are you choosing easy? Why? Because you think that's what you're supposed to do. You think that's the pathway forward for you. You think that if I choose easy, then that's going to be great. That's what I'm searching for. This is what I'm after. Not realizing that if you search, you're actually here to choose hard. So where is that at? I want you to look at your world across body, being, balance, and business. Where? Across the core four. Across those domains. Where are you choosing easy and you need to flip it to hard? Is it in your body, in the way you're working out at the gym? Is it in your relationship, your marriage? Right? Is it inside your business? You're choosing something that's easy because you think that's what you're supposed to do because that's what you're supposedly seeking for, not realizing the gift is in the hard. Where's that at? Once you have found it and identified it, make one hard choice today. One hard choice today. What's one thing that you can do today that's going to reframe the story and you're going to take and consciously make the decision to choose hard? Once you've identified and found that thing, guess what? The call to action is always the same. It's very, very simple, and it is do something about it today. Take the bold action today. And that's it. That's all I got for you. It's your boy over here. I'm out. Peace out, everybody.